Hey Cyle, thanks again for coming to see me today. This is your the video that we did with your full swing. So just a reminder of what we saw. We didn't look in a lot of detail at your grip. We can do that at a later stage, but here this is where we saw some structural issues when you're taking the club back. If I put a little reference point here on your hips and then on here on your head. So what we saw taking the club back is that there's quite a big sway sideways, and you can see your right leg tends to straighten and you get a little bit of what they call a reverse pivot. In other words, the hips tilt, they don't rotate, which makes the head go forward. And the swing is very, very high. Okay, that's a compensation for, because your legs aren't working, you kind of compensate by using your arms too much, and then when you come into impact you can see the head's nowhere near where it was at the start. And then we get this poor alignment through impact. And when we look at a better player, we look at this guy here, we see that when he swings the club back, there's no real sway. You can see his hips stay against that green line. Bringing the club to impact, it's easy to see the alignment between his left arm and his club. And then because he's pushing the club, the body works better and he gets a release of the hands and the wrists as his body turns. And because you're pulling more, we get this no release where the club face stays open, okay, and everything looks hard and efforting. When we look from down the line, we'll put a reference point here, so you're a little bit too close to the ball. It's unusual, but we can improve on that. And then taking the club away. Here, when you take the club away and bring the club up, you can see it's a big, steep, high swing, and bringing the club down into impact, your club's always above that plane line. So in essence, that's called over the top. And because of that, everything, as the hips turn left, you then have to fight left. And that's where you get this ugly chicken wing and the club face staying open. So you're fighting the club as much as you can there. If we look again from this angle at a better player, swinging the club down into impact, you see the club travels on or underneath that line, and as he rotates he can release the club nicely compared to where you are. Okay, so the main difference there is between pushing and pulling to create that. And when we looked at your little chip shot, it was easy to see that it's just a miniature version of what you do in your full swing. Okay, your takeaway not really defined, and then on that back foot and coming through here, we can see the poor movement of the left hand and the left arm buckling. That's that pulling action. So we just did a simple movement of making sure your hands work a bit better when you hit the ball. So that was the idea of the right hand pushing the club forward and the left thumb pushing down to create that, or to help create that nice alignment between your left arm and the club. And when you do that, you'll see now you go through impact a little bit better, and then what we saw was the release now became a little bit more natural because you're applying the right forces. Not only that, you look like you're better balanced, okay, and more coordinated compared to here, back foot and that poor movement onto your front side. And then just at the end there we added that little bit of a pivot, so we try to get your hands and your hips to work together. So that little forward and back exercise is designed to help you to feel that. Because the club starts above it, you can then push down to create your nice alignment, and then going through impact we got that nice extension with the hands releasing. Okay, and that's quite a big difference from where you were with your full shots here. Okay, so just by treating the cause points we got to fix quite a few of the mechanics in the swing, and hopefully that made a little bit of sense to you about the steps that you need to cover in order to understand that a bit better. I'm going to send you that mail, and then you can let me know if you've got any thoughts. Cheers.